Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing something a little different. I've never done one of these before. I've seen multiple booktubers do it and I enjoy watching theirs, but it's not something that I've ever done before because something about being wrong at the end of everything just doesn't sit well with me, but we are going to give it a try. This is going to be my 5-star predictions for 2022 Horror Edition. So let's jump in. All of the books that we are going to be talking about are going to be backlist titles. None of these are 2022 releases. I don't tend to keep up with a lot of new releases. I do have a list of upcoming releases for 2022 that I'm anticipating, but I haven't sat down and said, oh, this is going to be a 5-star read for any of those. These are all titles that have been sitting on my shelves that I've been dying to read, so I'm making it a point to do so in 2022, and I just have a feeling they're going to be 5 stars, whether it's because I heard somebody talk about it that has similar reading tastes to me and they gave it 5 stars, or I read the synopsis and I'm like, oh yeah, this is my type of book, or maybe it's the author that is making me inclined to believe that it's going to be a 5-star read. So again, these are all horror books, and coming in at number 1 is Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach. I don't know how to say that last name, but this has been sitting on my shelves for, I believe, 2 years already. This was gifted to me 2 Christmases ago by my friend. We did like a little Christmas exchange, and it is actually signed and personalized. And just something about the topic of this, I believe this has to do with a man and sort of coming to realization of things that happened to him in his childhood, something maybe sinister, and he tries to reconstruct the events that happened, and they are a little bit unsettling. That's what I'm getting from the synopsis. I hear really great things about this book, and I don't know why I haven't read it yet. This was on my wish list, and it's 2 years later and it's still unread, so I'm really hoping to get to it in 2022, and I really hope that my 5-star prediction for this one turns out to be true, because I'm so eager and I'm so giddy to get to this one. And I don't know, it's just a feeling I have. I have a feeling that me and this book are gonna connect in a deep level. I don't know why I did everything on that side. We're gonna switch to this side because this is just a side that feels natural to me. Every time I hold a book on this side, it doesn't feel normal. Next up is going to be Savage Mountain by John Quick. We received this in a Nightworms box. I can't remember when it was. Was it last year? This is a book that released in 2020. And there's something about this cover that just is telling me, listen, this is gonna be 5 stars. Now, I know we should not be judging a book by its cover, but I am just trash for doing that. Like, I will fall hard on that hill of judging a book by its cover. It's what I do. I just can't help myself. This actually takes place in the Smoky Mountains, and one of my favorite places is the Smoky Mountains. I was able to go to the Smoky Mountains last year in August. Was it last year or the year before that? I think, yeah, last year. And I fell in love with that place so much. I mean, I just love Tennessee, but being able to go to the Smoky Mountains and drive around was just incredible. It was such an incredible thing for me, and when I saw that this takes place in the Smoky Mountains, I just nearly died. This also has whitewater rafting in it, and the first time we had gone to Tennessee, which was about 5 or 6 years ago, we ended up going whitewater rafting, and it was such an adventure. I fell out of my raft. It was like scary, but it was so fun at the same time. And so in this book, we have a couple of friends that want to go whitewater rafting, but one of their boyfriends is just like jealous and just, I guess, a toxic guy. And he ends up doing something to make them see how foolish, or like planning something to make them see how foolish the trip is, which in turn ends up making the girls fall under very dangerous circumstances. To me, all of that just sounds like this could be a 5-star read for me. I'm super eager. I mean, I'm eager to read all of these, obviously, but since receiving this one, there was just something about this cover that kept calling to me. And 2022 is the year that I'm gonna read this. And 2022, I declare, will be the year that I rate this 5 stars. I read Joe R. Lansdale for the first time this year, and with Edge of Dark Water, I loved that book so much. Not only because of the storytelling and the writing, but just the setting and the tone and the characters. I loved that book. I gave it 5 stars. After reading that book, it made me want to pile on all the Joe R. Lansdale books onto my TBR. I bought a stack of books and I put a bunch of them on my wish list as well. And my friend ended up gifting me one, and that is The Thicket. I am dying to read this one. I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I have high hopes and I have a good feeling that this is gonna be 5 stars. This has to do with our main character, Jack, and he has just gone through the ringer. Like, his life is just crap. Him and his sister end up orphaned after catastrophe strikes his family. They go on this journey to his grandfather's house, I believe, just to go live with his grandfather because, again, they're orphaned. And along the way, they come across this group of bad men, and they end up kidnapping the sister and killing the grandfather. So it's just a quest to find his sister and going about doing so. I think he's trying to get a group of people together to help him find his sister and avenge, you know, his grandfather's murder. Joe R. Lansdale has a way of doing journeys. Like in Edge of Dark Water, we are following our main character. I think her name is Sue Ellen. One of them is Sue Ellen. I know there's like 3 characters and I always get their names mixed up, but our main character is trying to get her dead friend to Hollywood. Her dead friend's dream was to become an actress, and so she gathers this group of people, including her mother, to take this journey, and they end up coming across this bad man. So one of the main things that I loved about the book was that journey, and I see the same thing in this one. So that's why I'm putting this one on my predictions list, because it just sounds like I'm going to enjoy the journey the same way. An author that I really want to read for 2022 is Richard Lehman. I own, like, I don't know, 10 of his books in my collection. I keep buying Richard Lehman books and I just don't read them. So I'm hoping that this is one of these authors that I get to read in 2022. Let me know if you guys want to see a video of authors that I want to read or try in 2022, because I have a hefty list. If it's something that you would like to see, let me know and I'll do that video. But one of those books is Island. I actually went onto Google and Googled his best works, and I got a couple websites, and on all of them this book came up. So you guys know I love a good slasher book and a good book set on an island because I love summer, and this is just that. It's this guy or this man, he's taking a business trip on they're going on a cruise, and they end up in a shipwreck, and they land on this island. Luckily, they have enough food and they have enough things to survive until they can come and get rescued, but little do they know that there is a crazy murderer loose on this island. So that just, I mean, I love stories like that. Those are usually 5-star reads for me, so that's why this one has made it on the list. Next, we have Cricket Hunters by Jeremy Helper. Now, this is a book that I have heard a few of my friends talk about, and the majority of them have put this on their 5-star list, and it's people that I have similar taste to. And the topic of this one is that there is this girl, and she is I don't know if she is part of this group that calls themselves the Cricket Hunters, or she just knows and is friends with this group that calls themselves the Cricket Hunters. Well, one day, one of her girlfriends goes missing, and they just can never find her. So the case goes cold. 15 years later, her boyfriend, which was also part of this group of cricket hunters, is found dead or goes missing. I don't know if it's that they go missing yeah, they just go missing. I guess they never find them, or I don't know if they find their dead bodies, but they go missing, and she finds that there are clues or similarities between both of their disappearances, and this brings her back into opening or trying to investigate this situation to get some answers. That has, again, the perfect equation for a 5-star read for me. I love books like that, and I'm hoping that I'm not wrong. I mean, granted, I'm bound to be wrong about some of these. I don't see myself coming to you guys December of 2022 telling you, hey, I was right about all of them. You know, I hope that all of these are 5 stars, but is that the reality? Probably not. But I'm hoping that this one is, because I've been eyeing it for a while. And again, I'm gonna say the same thing. I just have a feeling about this one. Down to the last 5. Next one is going to be The Complete Double Dead by Chuck Wendig. I think this is 2 books, if I'm not mistaken. I saw this a couple years back on my friend's Instagram. I don't know if it was an Instagram or it was his blog, but he talks about this. I love vampires, and I think this is a mix between vampires and zombies. It says a vampire in Zombieland. You wouldn't like Coburn. People don't, as a rule, and that's okay, because he doesn't like people much either. People are food. So I don't want to read too much of this synopsis. I've read the majority of these synopsises just for the sake of this video, but you guys know that I like to go into my books blind, and I'm gonna keep it like that with this one. But I think it's just a mix between vampires and zombies, and you know, there's not much more you can say about that. So excited for this one. Next is Savage Species by Jonathan Janz. I've had this sitting here for a while. This looks, I don't know what this looks like, but I do. Jonathan Janz is a hit or miss author for me. I like some of his books, then other of his books I don't like. But I don't know if it's the cover for this one that has me thinking it's gonna be a 5-star read. This has to do with this park that's being built. It's actually about to open, and Jesse, which I guess is one of our main characters, they are assigned to cover this grand opening of this park. But little do they know that this construction of the park has stirred up or awakened one of the most horriblest creatures that has ever walked the land or the earth, or the creatures, because it's multiple of them. Also, there is, I guess, this family that lives close by, and their baby has been kidnapped by these creatures. So they're just on the quest to save the baby. It's a group of them. They find another group of survivors that are living in this cave or something, and they're just trying to find these people's baby. I don't know if you can see like the sort of similarities here of like quests or going to find somebody that's missing or saving something. I love journey type of novels, so that's what caught my attention with this one. And again, the cover to this one is just fantastic. Another one that I want to talk about, I don't know, I think this is like thrillery and horror-y. They're like horror or thriller, horror adjacent, but this is the only YA novel that I have in this one. I've wanted to read it for a really long time, and the only reason is it's because it's set in Argentina. If you guys don't know, or if you're new here, I've mentioned this before, but I am half Argentinian. My mom is Argentinian, and so there's something about this being set in Argentina. Whenever there's a novel set in Argentina or Italy, I am there because I'm half Italian, half Argentinian. And especially if it's a horror novel, yes, please. An Italian horror novel, oof, even though they're translated, and there's always something lost in translation, they just do something to me. The book in question is The 10th Girl by Sarah Faring. This has to do with a school, I believe, which is a haunted mansion. I believe the school is in the haunted mansion. Maybe not. Yeah, it is. It says, a haunted Argentinian mansion, a family curse, a twist you'll never see coming. Welcome to Vaccaro School. Vaccaro. I'm going to say Vaccaro because I imagine that it's a Spanish, a Latin name, but we're going to say Vaccaro. The cover, the setting, And being that it's a haunted mansion and in a school setting, these are all like just ding 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 words for me. So I'm thinking this is gonna be 5 stars. This has very mixed reviews, so I'm hoping that for me it's a hit, but I know many people don't like this one. And the last 2 that I'm gonna talk about, they are 2 favorite authors of mine. I had to put them on this list. I actually had 2 from one of my favorite authors, and I'm still gonna talk about it, but because next year it'll be a backlist title, but this book actually came out this year, so it's gonna be an honorable mention. And we'll leave those 2 for last. But first we're gonna talk about some Brian Keene, because I love Brian Keene and I wanna continue reading his works. I wanna read all of his backlist, even if it takes me the rest of my life, because he has an extensive backlist. But for this video, we're gonna talk about The Complex. I've talked about this a couple times on my channel. I need to read it. It's a short one. I think it has to do with zombies. I'm not sure, but it's this apartment complex and the dead are walking, I think. I think zombies are walking the earth. I could be completely wrong, but I don't want to read too much of the synopsis. But there's these survivors that are in this complex, in this apartment complex, and somehow they have to survive. So I love Brian Keene again. And I want to read all his books. I'm hoping 2022 I can read a lot of his books. Can you imagine if I just spent 2022 reading Brian Keene? I won't, because I need variety, but I'm just super excited for this one. And last but not least, I have Christopher Triana, because that's another one that I want to read all of his books. He has less than Brian Keene, so I think that I could read all of his works in 1 year, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. The 2 that I want to read for 2022, the first one being Body Art. I mean, look at this cover, how amazing this is. I'm gonna read to you the synopsis in the back because I really don't know how to, I don't know what this is about other than what this says, and what better way to tell you what this is about than reading the synopsis itself. It says, art comes in many forms: a disturbed undertaker, famous pornographers from the golden age of adult films, and a couple of high school graduates looking for a good time. Brought together by a mysterious red dust, these unique artists will collaborate on the most terrifying work of art known to man. So, I mean, I don't know what that says, but I know I love Christopher Triana. He is a little sick, or his stories are a little sick, let's say, and I'm all about that. This is blurbed by Edward Lee, and it says Jesus, and I thought I was sick, so excited. And then the honorable mention that I wanted to talk about, which was actually a release for this year, but I'm gonna be reading it next year, and I feel bad sort of because I bought a physical copy of it because it's Christopher Triana, but I actually got sent an e-arc of this, and I never got to it, but I really want to. I want to say that if I am sure of any other book on this list that's going to be 5 stars, it's this one, and it is And the Devil Cried. I mean, first off, that cover, the title. I know a few of us want to make the devil cry, and I'm dying to read this. I'm sitting here as I'm saying I'm dying to read this when I've had an e-arc of this forever and a day. This has to do with Jackie just getting out of jail, and his boss, Pino, which is the boss of the mob, already has a job lined up for him. Well, in the middle of this situation, Pino's son is killed in an accident. So when this happens, the mob boss gives Jackie the task of finding the killer, the guy that killed his son. It was a drunk driver that crashed into the guy's son and killed him. He wants Jackie to find this drunk driver and kidnap his daughter, and you know, the story goes from there. He wants an eye for an eye. So it's gonna be a tough read, as you know, these extreme horror books sometimes are, but I'm for sure that this is going to be a 5-star read because the story itself just sounds amazing, and who doesn't want an eye for an eye when something happens to their kid, regardless of how bad they are. So I'm super excited for this one. I'm super excited for all of these books because, I mean, they're 5-star predictions. That means that you think that they're good, right? So I have to be excited for them. So that's it, you guys. Those are all the books that are my 5-star predictions for 2022. Backlist horror titles that are 5-star predictions. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you have any 5-star predictions for 2022, whether they are new releases or backlist? Let's chat books in the comment section. As usual, all the books will be linked down in the description bar below if you are interested in them. They are affiliate links, just thought I would let you know. That is everything for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.